Hi everybody, very good morning. This is February 19th, 2026, the pre-market outlook discussion with one more day to complete this week. The overall behavior now stands somewhat better when compared to the previous week as well as in the previous these 3 days in a row. If you take and analyze it, the behavior, what it is telling, yes, of course, it is trying to escape from the negativity, and also it is trying to construct a disciplined way of structure. But for that, the rest of the thing, what is the concern still we are having is, even though it is trying to form this kind of a disciplined manner structure with the buying attempts, the follow-through actions after opening on the every day, which has been continuing since the January onwards, the follow-through actions in terms of attracting buying around the breakout zone, particularly on the breakout zone, the buying attempts were not seen that much. And while it is trying to approach the support points or support zones, there we can see some better activity in terms of buying, which means what? Every dip is attracting buying rather than attracting the buying in the breakout zones. So one can understand this kind of behavior, particularly for the day traders who wants to build the long. You can build the same or build the additional long positions on the Nifty, Bank Nifty, Mid Cap Nifty. More than the Nifty and Bank Nifty, Mid Cap Nifty is doing good. And these strategies can be followed on these index-based derivatives. And along with it, when the supports of these levels or these index-oriented levels or zones getting approached, there you can think of entering freshly or accumulating further in terms of building longs. For that, one need to know only one thing about the real entry where we can make like. So for that only the levels, what we have been mentioning in everyday's report and discussing the same in the meeting session would be helping you to take your decision with high conviction and clarity, confidence. Right away for the day, by minding the opening session, that would be probably with a flat to positive manner, aligning with the neutrality or the neutral tendencies the global indices are currently having. After opening today's Nifty and Sensex, the trend probably or perhaps turning into consolidating within a range that would be a moderate level of swings we can see anyhow. That range for the Nifty terms, one can say 25,600 to 25,900. That would be the major dominating range for the day. Without breaking either side of this mentioned range, the Nifty may not be having the extensive way of moving on the either side. If it breaks the 25,900 for an instance, we can say that 25,900 breakout will lead the chance for making an attempt towards 26,000 as a psychological resistance point. So till then, one can keep, or by the way of booking portion of the profits, one can keep the rest for the 26,000 as a next target. But anyhow, it would be better to close or at least book the portion of the profits when the Nifty trying to reach or near to the 25,900 as the first hurdle for the day. Being lighter in position would be highly advised around this zone. Conversely, if the Nifty breaks down 25,600, there one should apply caution, because as we mentioned in this today's report about the phrase we used to do so, improving but not convincing. What it denotes means the behavior activities are getting improved in terms of Nifty and the Sensex movement, but not convincing, which means what? The follow through actions, which means the consistency in the buying activities, is now a concern for the Nifty's behavior or Sensex oriented movements, we can say. So that would be required to make the attempt already which has taken to be continuing without any disturbance. Otherwise, the halt or the pause in the movement might be happening. Because of the pause in the movement while upward attempts are being taken, the selling attraction also will be step into, and because of that selling attraction, if it is particularly near to the resistance zones, means the retracement almost 50% also we can expect from the high attempts the index is expected to break. So that is what the strategy one has to follow. So simple manner we have to understand that while in the support zone or near to the support zone, provided without even a break it should give, and by holding these support zones without a break means one can enter freshly or accumulate further in terms of building long. For that, the 25,600 would be the first level of support one can follow. In case it is getting broken, 25,500 to 449 would be the next chance for seeking the support. Probability will be very high to attract high level of buying volume, because the 25,449, as we have been discussing in many occasions, the interim behavior shift zone that would be. But the chance for reaching 25,449 and 25,500 and all having very less probability, at most 1/4 or 1/5 of probability, as we are actually seen on this reaching 25,449 in today's trade. But the probability will be very high, the Nifty breaking or getting resisted, and a sharp reversal and retracement can be seen around 25,900 zone. That is having high probability. So based on the strategy we are discussing, you can take your trading decisions. From the positional perspective, it is inevitable if the Nifty closes decisively above 25,740, because it has yesterday closed anyway, but the decisiveness is still lacking. So that we are mentioning through our prediction on the behavior that the 25,740 above a decisive close is required for Nifty to make an attempt positionally towards 26,300 and even beyond that level as a new all-time high. Until this happens, a consecutive close, even though it has happened in the previous week, it could not sustain. So you should actually just add a point in our usual concept of the consecutive 2 days close above the levels or below the levels would be directing the next trend, like we have been discussing now. In that manner, you have to add this point. The decisive close is required even though it is a consecutive one for the 2 days. So that's it. The strategies levels have been discussed. For this particular day, the sectors include metal, public sector undertaking banks, finance, automobile, real estate, oil and gas oriented sectors, or these sectors might be moving the markets today with a high conviction manner, and probability will be very high for the PSU banks to continuously making an attempt higher. Along with it, finance and financial services oriented stocks can be expected to move the markets in a positive manner, but particularly from the mid-cap space, this finance sector can be approached. Automobile, with the support of TVS Motor, one can see the large cap oriented stocks can be attracted in the volume side, buying volume side. Even though the Maruti and Hero MotoCorp are not having any conviction to move up, this TVS Motor, Tata Motor, commercial vehicle, Eicher Motors, and are having some good momentum, along with auto ancillaries also can be seen as an opportunity to trade on the long side. Real estate oriented, starting with DLF, Godrej Properties, a few stocks having some positivity, but anyhow, the overall outlook for the real estate would be on the mixed way. Oil and gas, that can be focused in the way of building long, starting with Reliance to till the OMCs. On the stocks front, the news-based one with the news of new business acquisition, order win or contract win, and US FDA oriented for the pharmaceutical stocks. So all the stocks here listed that can be having an enhanced trading chances for the day traders today include Hindustan Unilever Limited, the biggest capex it is going to do. And next one, TVS Motor, the milestone production activities and production reach by its Indonesian arm. So that would be making some positive clouds over TVS Motor share price. Dr. Reddy Laboratories and Zydus Life Science, along with the news of the US FDA, NCC. Actually, this NCC and its subsidiary got a contract win also, along with the debarring of the participating in any further bids going forward. The great news for the NCC that can be focused. Cochin Shipyard also, based on the news, the contract win. So these stocks will be helpful for those looking for getting higher gain by entering into the stocks for intraday. Keeping stop loss would be very important across the trade transactions you are going to do. That would be not only for making you to limit the stop loss, that means we limit the loss, it also to be managing the high risk reward ratio as well as protecting our capital. So that's it from today's pre-market discussion. We can have valid strategies along with the levels discussed. Use buy on dips. Use the buying activity when it is nearly to the support zones. And while it is nearing to the resistance point, as we mentioned here as the first zone of 25,900, it is better to reduce the position on the long side and be lighter in the position. No need of entering into the short immediately, because for short positions, the Nifty not in the current condition to get highly rejected, highly resisted. For that, it needs to consolidated between 25,900 to 26,000 without moving or breaking above the 26,000 level. There you can initiate your short positions, not around the 25,900. You can see queries on the crude oil and Bajaj FinServ. So these two queries can be now addressed. See, for Bajaj FinServ, the lack of buying activities on the Bajaj FinServ, it is better to, if you are already holding in cash segment, it is better to keep holding, even though it has rose yesterday. It is better to hold with the target of 2,100 at least on the immediate term basis. But probability will be very high if it is reaching or breaking above or moving beyond the 2,100, means that the chances for the next target around 2,200 will be rising. Until then, it is better to keep an accumulation strategy or buy and dip strategy by keeping the support zones as a 2025 to 2000 level, where you can freshly enter or accumulate further. You can keep the long positions by keeping these levels. For the crude oil, based on the MCX crude oil, so now the trend is expected to be attracting the buying with a dip. It is actually going to see, because today's one probability will be very high for making an attempt once it breaks the 5,976. Until then, a mild dip may be. That means from the high, the mild retracement based dips can be expected around 5,900. Once 5,900 it is approaches means where you can initiate your long positions with a clear stop loss. It is forming around 5,830. So that would be the final stop loss for the day. If you want to make bit smaller stop loss level means it is better to follow 5,880. Yeah, final stop loss 5,820 and 5,880 would be the first level of stop loss one can follow if you are a long trader. There is no chance for the short trading by the way of breaking down because it is now in a clearly buying zone, even though the volume and lack of follow through actions there on the buying side. Because once it breaks the 5,976 level, it would be eyeing for the next level of 5,000. Yeah, almost 6,050. Even it can be eyed. So that is what for crude oil futures. Then, yeah, a good feedback from Uma Maheshwaran sir that welcome back. We missed you past a few days. Like thank you for your appreciation as well as your cooperation with us. We'll be keep doing and giving service to make you all aware about the behavior of the market before taking an important trading and investment oriented decisions that will be helping you to approach the market with ease, with emotionless, and with of course a joyful of trading is always required to make your trading and investment activities peaceful. So we'll be assisting you in all the way going forward. Thanks for your feedback, sir. We'll be expecting many more like this to make ourselves fine tuning and as well as developing ourselves to make the services reaching you in all the way to meet your expectations. Thanks again.